The sun blared mercilessly over the towering glass building as if it wanted to expose every hidden crack in the lives inside it. Among those cracks stood Marissa Dalhart, once a billionaire CEO who commanded boardrooms with a single glance. Now she stood outside the same building as an unemployed, bankrupt woman with shaking hands and an eviction notice folded in her purse. Her world hadn't just crumbled, it had shattered in broad daylight where everyone could watch. And yet, the moment that changed everything wasn't the fall, it was the ordinary man with a mop and tired eyes who stepped into her life when she least expected it. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that remind us of humanity, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Grandma's book to help more stories reach those who need them. Marissa had built her fortune on precision, on being unbreakable, on never letting anyone see her cry. But the day the markets crashed because of a betrayal inside her own company, she lost everything in a matter of hours. Her board forced her to step down. Her accounts were frozen while lawyers dissected every document she had ever touched. The people who once complimented her expensive suits now pretended they didn't see her as she walked through the lobby like a ghost returning to the scene of her own death. She wandered the city for hours that day, ending up at the community center where she had once donated millions to build a youth program. She didn't know why she went there. Maybe she wanted to see something she once helped create, something she hoped was still alive even if her empire wasn't. The inside smelled of cleaning detergent and paint, and the quiet hum of a floor polisher echoed from down the hall. And that's where she saw him. Evan Carver, a single dad pushing a mop bucket, looked up with tired but gentle eyes. He was in his late 30s, wearing a faded blue janitor uniform that had been washed so many times the fabric had thinned at the seams. Strands of dark hair fell across his forehead, and a soft stubble shadowed his jaw. He didn't know her, not as the billionaire, not as the failure, just as a woman who looked like she hadn't slept in days. She didn't want him to see her fall apart, but exhaustion cracked her facade. When he asked if she needed a place to sit, her knees buckled, and she sank onto a nearby bench. She tried to speak, but all she managed was a strained whisper. He didn't ask for details, he simply sat a respectful distance away, giving her tissues, letting her breathe, letting her be human again. In that small silence, something in her began to shift. Evan eventually spoke softly, as if talking to someone who had been holding the world alone for too long. He shared his own struggles, not as a pity tale, but as proof that collapse wasn't the end. He told her how he lost his wife to illness 3 years ago, how he worked 2 cleaning jobs to care for his 7-year-old daughter, Lily, who waited for him in the after-school art room down the hall. He told her how life had taken everything twice, and yet he kept going, because someone had once given him a second chance. His words landed like gentle blows to her armor, cracking open everything she had kept hidden. For the first time in months, someone wasn't looking for a statement, an apology, or a headline. Someone was simply being kind. Marissa asked if she could meet Lily, and Evan nodded. The little girl came running in with paint-covered hands and bright eyes, the kind that seemed to reflect all the light left in the world. She gave Marissa a drawing, a sun with a heart in the middle, and said she made it for the sad lady so she can have sunshine too. That was the moment Marissa broke completely, but this time, the breaking felt like healing. She began volunteering at the center, at first to distract herself from her own wreckage, but soon it became a lifeline. She taught teens resume writing, helped organize donation drives, and even stayed late cleaning alongside Evan. Every day she learned something new about him, his patience, his unwavering hope, the quiet strength he carried without expecting recognition. And every day, she saw a version of herself she never knew existed. Weeks turned into months. She wasn't wealthy anymore, but the days felt richer than any luxury she once owned. Then one afternoon, while she and Evan were sorting donated books, a lawyer arrived at the center with news. The investigation into her company had reached its conclusion. She had been cleared entirely. The man responsible was arrested. Her assets were restored. Every door she once had was open again, but she didn't feel joy. She felt fear. The life she had built here, the community she had grown to love, the quiet connection with Evan, the bond with Lily, felt more valuable than the billions she regained. She didn't want to lose them. She didn't want them to think she had used this place as a temporary refuge before running back to her glass castle. She found Evan outside sweeping the front steps, sunlight warming his shoulders. Her voice trembled when she told him the news. His broom paused midair, but instead of stepping back or growing distant, he simply said, "I'm happy for you, Marissa. You deserve peace." No jealousy, no doubt, only sincerity, and that was when she realized she didn't want to rebuild the old empire. She wanted to build something new, with meaning, with purpose, with the people who had shown her what kindness looked like. She used her restored resources to transform the community center into a foundation offering scholarships, mental health support, career training, and family assistance. She hired Evan as the operations director, giving him a role worthy of his strength and compassion. She ensured Lily had access to every opportunity Marissa never had as a child, and slowly, gently, almost naturally, love grew where pain once lived.